Okay, what I'm going to attempt to show you is how to replace a spring tensioner. This is a 2003 Mercury Sable. Spring tensioner, which is located right here, is right beneath your alternator. It sits down in this pocket in here, in this hole. And it's right next to the block, engine block. It's got a 750 star head bolt that holds it on to the side of the block, and this keeps the tension on the belt of the car. There's one pulley that's located right on top of it, right underneath the alternator. That pulley, this idler, will have to be removed before you can get the tensioner off. First things first though, you got to get the belt off first, then get the idler off. This is a 15mm bolt here. This is a 750 star head bolt. Take one off, the idler off, the tensioner off, and then here's my new tensioner, which is a little bit different. It's a come from an automotive store. It's not original parts, but it should work. It matches up pretty close. So I'm gonna put it on. It doesn't have the star head. It's got a 16mm bolt instead of a star head, but the bolt sizes and everything are still the same. So I'm gonna put it back on, put my idler back on, put my belt back on, and see if the squeaking stops. Okay, when we install this new tensioner, there's a little pilot hole on the side of the block. We have to line this hole up and get the bolt started. So I have to wiggle this around in there until we find this little spot, and it's a tight spot to work down in that hole. So I'm probably not going to be able to film it exactly very well, but it's a really tight spot just to get this down in here, maneuver it all the way in there, and get the bolt started. It's pretty tricky. So that's the next step. Now, if you can see down in here, I've got the new tensioner installed, and the biggest problem that you'll have is this bolt right here. This bolt is so long that you're all the way out like this, and you're trying to get it started, and this thing's wobbling and it's doing all kinds of stuff, and you're trying to hold it and screw the bolt in at the same time. Plus you got this pulley right here in the way. So, but I didn't want to take the pulley off and try to put it back on in such a tight spot. I want to leave it all together. So I just got the bolt started slowly but surely, and this thing actually fell down all the way down in the bottom of that hole. I had to go dig it out. So that's probably going to be the most difficult part of the whole deal. So once you get that started, get it all the way back in and tighten it up, which the new one has a 16mm head on it and no star head, which probably made it a little bit easier. The stars are in some places are easier to deal with, and in other places they're not as easy to deal with. But this one had a different kind of head, and so I went ahead and used what came with that. And so now this pulley is going to go right here where this little hole is. You can see my finger, hopefully you can. It's going to go right there on that little slot. We're going to put it in there, and then the last step will be to put the belt back on. Okay, we just put our new pulley on. It's right here. We got our tensioner on right down below it. And last step, just get our belt on. The pulley wasn't very hard at all to put back on. 15mm. And the bolt, it comes all in one piece, so the bolt stays stationary inside the housing of that pulley. So the pulley comes all the way out to this box when you start to put it on, and you have to reach on the inside of it with your fingers and get the thread started. And after you turn it in a few times, you can actually get a ratchet on the other side of it, on this side, so you can ratchet it on. Make sure you tighten those things down really good, because you don't want your pulleys, especially your tensioner, to come loose, or your idler to come loose. Okay, so last step, get the belt on. Okay, here's the final product. It's running quietly, and I'm going to rev it up a little bit, see what we got, see if we can squeal it. There's no squeal there, so hopefully that was our problem. Everything seems to be on and running smooth. Belt can be a little tricky to get back on. You just have to remember how you got it off. I do want to show you something. I got a 2002 Ford Taurus sitting over here, and they're almost identical under the hood. So I just opened the hood on the Taurus to get the belt diagram for the Sable. So I'm just going to quickly show you Taurus. Here's our Taurus. Same exact layout, same alternator in the same spot, the whole deal. I've changed the alternator stuff in this car, but so if I need to change the tensioner in this one, I'll know exactly what to do, because it's the same as the Sable over here. So appreciate you watching. This is for entertainment. I appreciate all the subscribers, and hopefully I showed some people something that'll be helpful in the future. Keep watching. I'm gonna keep posting new ones. So appreciate it a lot. Thank you.